All right, everybody, this is Dr. Shea from Align Life Chiropractic and Wellness, and this is our fifth and final video of the Live Different Movement series. I'm really excited to go through this with you today, guys, because today we're going to talk about the crux of everybody's challenge, which is stress. I don't know if you guys can relate, but I certainly have felt the pressure these days just doing regular tasks. I think the amount of stress that we're under is unprecedented in that it's very inconspicuous. It has a tendency to be able to weave its way into our lifestyle, even like I said, during things that often aren't a part of what we normally experience. So stress is something that pushes us away from homeostasis and balance. Homeostasis is when your body is getting everything that it needs in order to be able to express health. So that's the natural state of how things should be. It is normal to be healthy. It is normally to be emotionally and mentally right with yourself and with other people. And I think these days, because of all the things that are happening in our world, it is really difficult to be able to maintain that state of mind as we go throughout our day. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about why we are being pushed outside of our biological norms and how we can get back to those so that way we can live more in congruence with being in that happy, healthy state of mind that we want to be in. So first, what is stress? Stress is anything that we perceive as being a threat to ourselves. Now, sometimes this can be something that's very real, right? If you are, in a building and all of a sudden people are knocking on your door and saying that there's a fire at the front door, well, that is a very real stressor and you need to get the heck out of there. Your body will respond appropriately to be able to help you do that. Now, on the other side of the equation, sometimes we can make up our own stressful stories. A great example of this would be maybe you're in the shower and you start thinking about something, maybe a coworker, or maybe it was something that happened on your sports team or something that you get all worked up and you almost get emotional about it and you're just still in the shower, right? So we can perceive these things as being threats in our mind, or they can actually be real threats, but either way, we get moved into what's called adaptive physiology. That means instead of being in homeostasis and in balance, we're pushed and we have to change the way that we're doing things from a body function perspective to adapt to the stress that we are under regularly. There's something called allostatic load. That's the amount of stress hormones that our body has to secrete in order to maintain our current level of existence. When you are at homeostasis or at balance, you'll notice that the amount of stress hormones you're putting out is relatively small. Keep in mind, what are we talking about here? Cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine, and so forth. These are the stress hormones secreted from the body to be able to help us adapt and be able to get away from a real stressor or to manage and prepare for those perceived stressors. So what's the best thing to do when it comes to a perceived stressor? Number one, you have to be self-aware. So if your mind starts telling you stories, it's okay to stop the tape on that story and remind yourself, oh, that's just a story I'm telling myself, and then come back into a more balanced state, because creating a name for something often helps you to be able to separate from that thing and help you to get back into a better state of mind, which is ultimately what we're looking for. On the other hand, if you have a real stressor that you need to move away from, your adaptive physiology is going to increase your heart rate, your blood pressure, it's going to dilate your eyes, it's going to make it so that you can run and get the heck out of there or fight and do what you need to in order to be able to survive. Now, in the short term, your body is fantastic with dealing with stress. So it can tolerate sort of stressful moments that come and go because those adaptive changes happen, then we eliminate the stressor, and then we go back into homeostasis and balance. And really, there's not a long-term negative consequence from this. What we worry about now in the modern world and what has become so societally programmed for us is not short-term stress, but long-term chronic stress that just compounds over time. In fact, years or decades of stress build up. And now, instead of having the ability to get back into homeostasis, we just stay with this chronically elevated allostatic load. That means we're pumping out stress hormones all the time at high quantities. This leads to all of the lifestyle diseases that we're seeing: cancer, stroke, hypertension, diabetes, osteoporosis, obesity. All of these things come from an environment that is not adapted to creating health and abundance in our lifestyle, and it messes with your mind and your emotions, and that's what we're trying to get away from. So If you want to live a more biologically aligned way and manage your stress, here's some things that I think are really important. Number one, if you're starting a story in your mind, try to identify it, be self-aware, turn that story off. Number two, identify what you actually really enjoy doing and attempt to, at the best possible level, do that as often as you possibly can. If you're in a work environment that isn't something that you enjoy, guys, change it. Do something new. Do something different that is more aligned with what you actually like doing. The wealth that you will experience because of that, not just on a financial perspective, but on how you feel about what you're doing with your time, which is the most valuable resource that you have, will be magnified tenfold. Third, stop comparing yourselves to other people, guys. This comparison of ourselves to other people, or maybe even comparing ourselves to where we used to be or what we perceive we should be doing, is at the root of so much shame and guilt that we experience. We're always feeling like we're not enough, we're not fast enough, we're not successful enough, we're not a bigger enough, we're not strong enough, we're not smart enough, I'm not a good enough son or daughter, I'm not a good enough employee or business owner, or whatever that is, whatever that story is that you're making up in your head that you're not enough. First, be self-aware enough to identify when you're telling that story, turn that story off, and start telling yourself some things that are actually true, which is you're totally worth it. And that the things that you've done in your life, you may not have always been proud of them, but they make up who you are, and that's good enough, right? And the fact that you've gone through maybe some hard challenges, but now you're on the other side of those, that's a real testament to the fact that you're someone who can overcome challenges, that you can push forward in your life and become someone who you can really be proud of in the future. So, guys, you're worth it. It's so worth it to live aligned with these biological norms and get away from what society is expecting from us, because it's not going to lead to anything that's productive in the first place. So, if you need help with these things, please reach out to us and our community at Align Life Chiropractic and Wellness. If you've enjoyed this video series, make sure that you are liking this video and that you're subscribing to our channel. We're going to be putting out a ton of content here as we move forward in time, and we'd love for you to be a part of that conversation. Thanks for listening today, and I hope that you guys have a fantastic week. Love yourself first, and then spread that love to everyone else. We all need that love and connection. We'll see you soon. Take care.